Well, we're continuing along with a theme today, talking about career-oriented issues, the business world, the marketplace, and we have a little different direction to take you now because many times in our lives, we've all hit it at different times in our lives, where maybe one door opens, another door closes, you need to find another job, or you lose your job, or you want to go a different direction. And there are sometimes, with today's economy, has been such a need for a ministry like this, Heritage Career Transition Network. And we're going to tell you about this ministry and the director of this ministry, Lee Savage. Thank you for being on again with us.
Thanks.
Good to have you back. It's been some years.
It has, but thank you
yes,
for
and you
having
flagged me, which I'm so glad that you had some new initiatives coming up. And one thing too, I'm going to mention this now. If we have time, we'll talk about it a little bit later. But Lee also has a book that we have featured in the past on the show, and it's called Aim for Jobs. I'm going to hold up for, we're not going to focus on the book today, but I do want to show you that it's there. This is another tremendous resource that you can get from Lee Savage called Aim for Jobs, and God gave him this book as well. But Lee, tell us first of all, what is the Heritage Career Transition Network? And you're affiliated with a local church as well.
Yes, our home base is Heritage United Methodist Church. I started this back in April of 2002, so we're in our 13th year of helping people who are unemployed or underemployed or just out there in the workplace looking for a job.
Yeah.
And it's been a joy. It really has. We have ministered to over 1,750 people.
Wow.
Now that's 13 years.
Wow.
So that's a lot of folks that have come through. The last year, since January of a year ago, we just passed our 100th person finding a job in 12 months. So the jobs are there. The jobs are there. What we found out is God knows everything He has in mind for every person that comes through our doors. He has something in mind. And one of the most discouraging things is when you lose a job. It's like losing a friend, or it's very devastating.
Yeah.
So we work on that. We start with the prayer. We have scripture. We talk about God and what He has in mind for you. But it's just been it's been a real joy.
Well, now this translates into some very specific approaches that you take. So with the, number one, I have to give a lot of credit to the church, Heritage United Methodist Church, that this is literally one of their ministries. If you go to their website, this is an integral part of what they do, and to reach out to the community. And so I applaud them for doing that. And particularly when the recession hit and everything, this ministry was so vital. And it still is, and not everybody's, been partaking in the recovery yet. There's a lot of need out there still. And so what does this translate in? You have specific meetings. How do you go about this? What are the resources that you do?
We meet every Thursday. We started this some time ago. We want to be consistent so that it's not like, is this the third Thursday of the second Thursday or what? So we meet every Thursday from 9 till noon. The workshops are from 10 to noon. 9 to 10 are personal counseling, where we will sit with people in our group and work with them on their resume or their networking skills or whatever. We have a fixed schedule and agenda every single Thursday. It follows the book. You mentioned it just briefly. I can't help but get away from the book.
Yeah.
All the way from putting your job search plan together to resume writing to how to use the network. Networking is probably the #1 skill you need as a job seeker, because the majority of jobs are hidden. They say there are just a little under 100,000 unemployed people in the Tampa Bay area, and many of the jobs that they're looking for are hidden. So we teach them how to do that. We do not do it for them. We're not a recruiter.
Good distinction, yeah.
Right, and we'll give them all the skills they need on how to find a job. The reason I get excited about this is when I wrote the book, I've got to jump here for just 1 minute. 4 years ago, God woke me up. No, it wasn't my wife. It was God woke me up in the middle of the night and gave me this arrow, the target with the arrow.
Yes.
And I said, boy, that's something. So I got out of bed and went over and drew the target and drew the arrow, and the tip of the arrow happened to be an A, looked like an A. The stalk was an I, and the feathers were an M. Now, what does that mean? AIM, A-I-M, and that's the name of the book, Aim for Jobs. So we use that all the time. But it's,
yeah, and you have attitude, initiative, motivation.
Right.
It's a big part, those three.
And you need that in business. You need, Laurie would talk about that in any business. You need to have an attitude, the right attitude, the initiative, and the motivation to make it anywhere. And that's so important in a job search.
Yeah, okay. Now, the specific help, you talk about you get together to teach them how to do a resume, you do the resources available to them, the networking, the workshops, individual coaching. I found that interesting. You actually will just sit and work with individuals, and do you target maybe these are areas that they're weak in, or you spend individual time with people?
When they join us, we'll give them a welcome packet, and in the welcome packet, by the way, everybody's welcome. Don't have to be a church member, don't have to be a Christian, because everybody needs help when they're out of work. So we'll ask them, what is the number one thing that you're struggling with in your job search? And most of that is, I don't know where to start. My resume needs help. So we will focus on whatever the individual needs are and come an hour early from the workshop and sit and talk with them on an individual basis. I've got 3 others that help me, and we have over 185 years of service in recruiting, in coaching, in training, and teaching, and we kind of share this.
Yeah.
But we'll sit and talk with them. We have a very unique profile that we'll do for individuals, totally free. This is a ministry, and totally free. That gives a 40-page overview on a person's skills and likes and dislikes and what they're best suited for, and try to match that profile up with the jobs that they're looking for to make sure they're on the right track.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a very valuable tool, very valuable. All right, am I remembering right? And I couldn't, if I'm wrong on this, I'm just having a memory flash, and we didn't talk about this before we did the show. But was there a point you worked with veterans too on this?
Yes, and thank you for bringing that up.
That's huge, yeah.
We have a veterans, Aim for Jobs for Veterans, number 4 veterans. We offer this to all the veterans totally free. There's a charge for the book because that becomes their workbook and everything, but the veterans get all this free. And people can sponsor a veteran for $25, and we'll make sure they join us. 36 of the people that found jobs last year were veterans. So it's and they come out of the service with no idea.
It's so hard. We've heard such terrible stories that they can't find work.
And there are. But all they need is hold their hand. You don't hold the veteran's hand, you back off a little bit. But we take them under our wing and just say, okay, let's get going. Let's start from day 1 and see where we're going to go with this job search. And particularly when we can give them this profile and let them determine what jobs they're best suited for, whether it's a tech job, selling job, a caregiving position. We try to narrow it down and help them find. Most of the people are unhappy in their jobs anyway, so find out what you really ought to be doing.
Yeah, and you bring such a great your own personal work history of being in human resources, and I just think how God uses people, because in our previous interview, Laurie Hill also has a marketing background, so how God's used you with all of this, and so how do you gauge success? How would you say? Obviously, there's going to be some statistics that you have, but how do you feel that you gauge that in this?
Well, I have probably mentioned this before. I hate to keep score.
Yeah.
It's like someone's got to win and someone has to lose, but if you don't keep score, how do you know how you're doing? Since we started, I think I mentioned it, 1,750 people have gone through, 1 week or 2 weeks or a whole year with us and found jobs. We've been averaging 100 people, just under 100 people each year, the last several years, the 4 years that I wrote the book, and using this as a template. And then the book is a how-to. It's really a how-to book. They can take the book and not even come to our classes or workshops and do it themselves. But you need support. You need other people to be there and tell about their experiences in the job search.
Well, and then that brings me to, and in just a couple moments we have left, is there the ministry element to this? Yes, this is not just for Christians. You're open to the community, but you open in prayer. You make it clear that God can be a part of this process. Have you seen that really have an impact on people's lives too?
I've seen it have an impact because they really buy into it. Not everybody is Christ focused, you know, but they're getting there. And we're not trying to do that. We're not trying to win people over, but why not?
Yeah.
If God knows what He has in mind for them, why not open that door and let them know that this is a very important part of it. The greatest joy I have, or the four of us that lead this have, is when someone calls and says, I won't be there Thursday because I have a job.
Yeah, yeah. That's extremely emotional. For you, that's what it's all about. That's it, right
Pardon
there.
me for that, but you're right.
No, that shows me your passion. That this is, wow, I'm going to end on that note, Lee. That's powerful. That's powerful. And, you know, let me ask you one final question. If our viewers, and we're giving them contact information on the screen and all of that, but the best way to just connect with you is just to contact the Heritage Career Transition Network, right? And go try to get set up for a meeting.
If they want to, and they're free on a Thursday, just come.
They can just come.
Just come to the church.
Yeah.
We will be there. But they can call the church number. They can use the church website, and there's a little bit about when we meet, where we are, how to get there, and this type of thing.
Okay.
And excuse me for getting a little emotional.
Oh no, that's all what it is about, really. That shows me that God has placed this ministry so firmly in your heart. Thank you so much, Lee, for coming on the program today. And once again, I'm going to hold up this book, Aim for Jobs. You can get through the Career Transition Network, and you can also go to aimforjobs.com. Just aimforjobs.com will tell you about this book as well, too. We will be right back. We're going to show you some information on the screen on how you can contact the Heritage Career Transition Network and get linked up with them, and then we'll be right back.
To contact Lee Savage at Heritage Career Transition Network, please call 727-784-5505 or send an email to aimforjobs@gmail.com. You can also find Lee on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. For more information about Heritage Career Transition Network, please visit heritageumc.com/ministries/career.
Lots of information today in today's program, and I hope it's been very productive for you, particularly if you are looking for a job and you need to go somewhere to maybe help you. That would be great. The Heritage Career Transition Network would be great for that. And then also the learning about being a godly person and taking your relationship with the Lord, taking the great I am back into your workplace too. Laurie Cranfield Hill wrote a great book. Get connected with the Christian Chamber of Commerce in Tampa Bay. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. May God richly bless you.